Hi, today we're going to replace a regular wall socket with a USB socket. Just a word of warning, make sure that you check with your local electrical authority, make sure this is perfectly legal in your area to do before you start this. Tools we're going to need are a flat screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver or star, a pair of side cutter pliers, a pair of needle nose pliers, and a multimeter. But if you haven't got a multimeter, you can use a lamp, or if you're doing this by yourself, a radio works well because you'll know when the breaker is off or the fuse has been removed. So to get started, we're going to take the multimeter and we're going to check to make sure that the power really is off. Well, we don't have 120 volts, so the power is off. Start by taking the old cover off. And removing the old receptacle. So on your plugs, you're going to have a brass screw and a white screw. The white screw is for your neutral wire, which is white. The brass screw is for the black wires, which are your power. And you have a green screw for your ground. So what we're going to start with is hooking up the ground wire. I'll show you when we're done here. Well, rather than watch me put all these things together, but loosen the screws off first. This is where you can insert a few swear words if you want. I won't do that for this video purposes, but
yeah, that would probably get this video taken out of YouTube.
These wires here are a bit long, so they're buried wire. So you need about a ½ inch of exposed wire. Now again, remember that the white screw is where the neutral wires go. You slide them in, take your screwdriver, and tighten them down. Make sure they're good and snug, because if they're loose, they will get hot, and then your contact will be broken and you'll have problems with your switch or your plug. So we'll do the same with the hot wires. Same thing. Make sure they're firmly seated and that the screw is in nice and tight. So you make good contact. The other thing to remember when you're wrapping a wire around a screw like this one, there's a screwdriver to point here. Make sure you do it in a clockwise direction so that when you tighten the screw, it actually pulls the wire underneath the screw. Otherwise, if you do it the other way, when you tighten the screw, it'll tend to open the wire up and not make a good contact. Now it's time to put it back in the wall. Now, when you're mounting plugs in the wall, with the three-prong plug, make sure that the ground is at the bottom. Some of these will be marked top and bottom, but most aren't. this little fella's snug in the wall because it's a big plug. Get the top one started. Right, now that we've got these screws tightened up, and we make sure that this is nice and plumb, these little fellas here, these little ears that stick out, those are drywall ears. What you want to make sure is that they're just nice and flush with the drywall. Don't over tighten it into the wall, otherwise your plate won't look right. Then we place our plate over top, take our small flat screws. These are much easier to line up. And there we have it, our new plug. Now we just need to turn the breaker back on and make sure that our USB ports work and our plugs work. Now that we got the power back on, this particular unit has a light in it, but just to make sure that the USB port is working, our USB device is plugged in and now has power. That concludes our plug swap. Thanks for watching. In immortal words of Red Green, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.